Pre-K, it's Miss Whitaker. Today for math, we're going to go back and practice the activity that Miss Dillon taught you last week with counting and making tallies. And then I'm going to show you a way to make that a little bit more challenging if you're already really good at making tally marks. Okay? So if you want to follow along with me, you need something to write with and something to write on. So a pencil and paper, or chalk and a chalkboard, or a dry erase board, or whatever you have. And if you don't, we can draw the tally marks in the air together. That's okay too. So I'll give you a quick second. Go grab your stuff, and then we'll get started. Ready? Great. Okay, so I have my number line here to help me in case I forget how to write numbers. But we're going to start with making our tally marks. So the first objects we're going to count, I have some hats, some baseball hats. These are the Washington Nationals. I have 1, 2. Let's count them and make sure I counted them correctly. 1, 2. So on my paper, I would make 2 tally marks. 1, 2. So that is what you learned with Miss Dillon last week. So the way we're going to make that a little bit more challenging is I'm going to say I have these 2 red hats, and I made my 2 tally marks for my red hats. But I also have 2 black hats. So I counted my red hats, 1, 2, and I made my 2 tally marks. I have my black hats. Oops, sorry. 1, 2. So I need to make tally marks for my black hats. 1, 2. So I have 1, 2 black hats and 2 tally marks for those. And I have 1, 2 red hats, and I have 2 tally marks for those. So if you already know how to write your numbers, you can write the numbers underneath. And if you need some help, just ask someone to help you make a number line so you have the numbers there to copy. So I'm going to write the number 2, and I'm going to write the number 2. So now I know I have 2 red hats and 2 black hats. But what if I want to know how many hats I have all together? So the way I can figure that out is I can add my 2 sets together. So I have my red hats and my black hats. I'm going to count them all together so I know how many hats I have all together. So let's count them. Ready? Get your finger up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had 2 red hats and 2 black hats, but all together I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hats. So I can use my number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can write my number 4. Down, across, and down. I'm just going to circle it so I remember that's how many hats I have all together. 4 hats. Okay, you ready to try another one? Let's put my hats away. All right, let's see. Here I have 1, 2 pairs of sunglasses, and they have patterns on them. So I have 2 patterned sunglasses. So let me do my tally marks. I made a bunch of squares so I could do everything on one page. So I said I had 1, 2. So I'm going to do 1, 2 tally marks for my 2 patterned sunglasses. And then I can check my number line, 1, 2, and write my number 2. Up and curve down, across. So I have 2 sunglasses. I also have a pair of just plain blue sunglasses. So I have my 2 patterned sunglasses, and I have 1 pair of plain, solid color, just blue sunglasses. So I'm going to add another tally mark for my blue sunglasses. So there's just 1. So I'll write 1 tally mark. And writing the number 1 is pretty easy. If you know how to make a tally mark, you can write number 1. I'll make the number 1 underneath. So then my question becomes, I have 2 patterned sunglasses and 1 solid sunglasses. How many sunglasses do I have all together? So I can figure that out by counting my sunglasses or by counting my tally marks. So if I'm going to count my sunglasses, I'm going to line them up in a nice straight line to make it easy to count. And we'll count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. How many? Right, 3. I also could count my tally marks. 1, 2, 3. So this way I know that 2 pattern sunglasses and 1 solid sunglasses together gives me 3 sunglasses. 1, 2, 3. And then I can use my number line if I need it. 1, 2, 3 to write the number 3. Curve around and around. Just like a capital B, it has 2 bubbles. Bubble, bubble, right? Good. All right, let's try another one. You ready? Let me put the sunglasses away. And let's try with some rocks. So here I have 1 bumpy brown rock. So how many tally marks do I make for 1 rock? Ready? Great, 1. I'm gonna go to my next empty space over here. I'm gonna make 1 tally mark for my 1 brown rock. I also have some white rocks. So let's line them up so we can count them. And let's see, how many white rocks do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? Right, 4. Let's make 4 tally marks for our 4 white rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my question is, I have 1 brown rock and 4 white rocks. How many rocks do I have all together? So let's add those 2 sets together. Ready to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many? 5, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you remember what Miss Dillon told you about making 5? When we get to 5, we go across. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this tells me I have 5. Let's find the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is a little bit tricky to make, but the more you practice, the better you get, right? So we go down, curve around, and then line across the top. So whenever I see 4 tally marks and line through the middle, I know that represents 5, just like the number 5. Okay, we're gonna do one more together. I'm gonna see if I can trick you. Are you ready? All right, I have some markers here. So I have some skinny markers. I'm gonna sort them out. I have some skinny markers, and then I have some fat markers. So here are my skinny markers and my fat markers. Let's count the fat markers first. I have 1, 2. Let's double check. 1, 2. So I'm going to do my tally marks for my 2 fat markers. 1, 2. Now I want to count my skinny markers. Let's move these up here so they're not way. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I ran out of space. Let's turn them this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one makes 5. Good, let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can make my tally marks for my 5 skinny markers. Remember, when I do 5, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to make 5, I do a cross. So now my question to you is, how many markers do I have all together? If I count my skinny markers and my fat markers, how many markers do I have? So one way we know we can do that is to start and line them all up nice and neat the way they are and count one at a time, right? And we can find the answer that way. But another way I want to show you that it's a little bit quicker when you're making tally marks. You can count your tally marks by counting on. So we know this is how many? Right, 5. So this is 5. So we can say 5, 6, 7. How many markers do I have? Great, 7. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Were you right? Great. Let's check the number line so we can write it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to make a 7, I do across and down. So I hope you had fun learning how to do tally marks and add 2 sets together. So in your house today, when you're playing with toys or you're coloring or drawing, see if you can make groups or sets of objects and then make your tally marks to add them together. Bye.